Well, hello there, fellow geeks and geekettes, and welcome to yet another review video. Today, we are going to take a look at the first manga I've ever read in my life, and that's BEASTARS Volume 1. I made an unboxing video yesterday of this title, but as I said, I had cheated a little bit, and I had read the half of the book the evening before I actually received the physical copy of the manga, because I just couldn't wait. And once again, a huge shout out to Gio from the channel A Week in Geekdom for his recommendation and for his review of this book. He is one of the main reasons why I actually started reading manga, because as I said in my previous video, I have been a voracious reader my entire life. Not only comic books, but regular novels and poetry. I even devote my life to literature academically, since I am a PhD student of English and American literature. But I had never really delved into reading manga because, as I said, I thought I would instantly fall in love with it and it would take up even more of my time. Well, I gave in and I started, and what I have predicted has happened, because this is one of the best books I have read in a long time, let me tell you. So let me just give you the premise and the story just very briefly. BEASTARS is about an alternate universe, an alternate reality where there are no people living in the world but anthropomorphized animals, which is, by the way, something I have loved since my childhood. I grew up on things like gummy bears and the Moomins and Thundercats and things like that. So I am no stranger to anthropomorphized animals. And in this world, carnivores and herbivores live, well, together in peace and harmony. Very similarly to the, was it Pixar or Walt Disney animated film Zootopia, but a bit more interesting with a little twist and so on and so forth. And the story takes place at a boarding school called the Cheriton Academy. And the main protagonist, the main character, is the big grey wolf here, called Legoshi, who obviously is a carnivore who, at this boarding school, lives in a room with his carnivore friends, most of them being dogs. There's a hyena, a coyote, there's like an old English dog, there's a Labrador, there's this little teensy tiny dog, and they're all friends. What is interesting about Legoshi, the protagonist, is that he really is one of the biggest animals at the school, definitely the biggest carnivore at the Cheriton Academy, but he's very timid. He is a 17-year-old wolf, a good guy, very quiet. He is a part of the Cheriton Academy Drama Club, but he is not one of the actors. He takes care of the technical stuff, like he takes care of the lighting and the costumes and so on and so forth. He's like the technician of the drama club. Well, and in this world of anthropomorphized animals, where carnivores and herbivores live together, eating meat is one of the greatest and gravest crimes, right? So even carnivores don't eat meat. They eat substitutions for meat that will anyway provide them with protein and other important nutritional things. But it so happens that, and this makes one of the main plots of the story, that at the beginning of the story, an alpaca called Tem, which is a herbivore, is brutally murdered and devoured by a carnivore. So it's also a bit of a mystery crime story as well. Well, and nobody knows who did it, right? Who ate the alpaca. Of course, everybody's shocked at the school, because killing a herbivore, especially if a carnivore kills a herbivore, this is one of the hugest crime in this world. Well, nobody knows who did it, but Legoshi becomes the main suspect, because he has always acted strangely, he has always been timid, he has always been a bit of an antisocial wolf, a lone wolf, and he acts strangely. And even though he was the friend of Tem, the alpaca, he does some things at the beginning that makes the other animals really suspicious about him. Well, and I don't really want to spoil it too much for you, because it's so amazing. I want everybody to enjoy this. Well, and the first volume really revolves around firstly, this mystery, and secondly, an important play that the drama club is rehearsing for. The main actor and the main leaders of the drama club being Louis, a huge red deer who belongs to a very rich aristocratic family from this world, and really everybody thinks that very soon he will become a B-star, which of course the book takes its name from, and it's a like an important person, an important animal of great value, and like it all starts at the school. If there is a very good student, he becomes a B-star, and then when he graduates, or he or she graduates, then he or she becomes like an important animal in this world, like a politician, an artist, a sportsman, and so on and so forth. So these the B-stars are really the elites among the animals in the book. Now, there's one more thing. Legoshi becomes acquainted with a small dwarf rabbit called Haru, which he first, well, kinda wants to eat because he's a big grey wolf, but his entire life there have been his most primal needs inside his brain and inside his body, which is eat meat, eat meat, eat meat. But his entire life he has been trying to suppress those most like deepest urges. Well, we don't know whether he succeeds in finally suppressing them or not, because I don't know. I'll have to wait for the next volume, which should come next week. But that's all I'm going to say about the story. What I find infinitely fascinating about the book, even before I show you the art, is that really when I compare it to the modern American comic books, this was first published, or this started to come out in 2016, and there is really no huge political bullcrap in the book. Yes, it is an allegory to the modern world. It is a nice commentary on how people view each other, and how we usually do divide ourselves to groups and races and don't really believe the other group or the other race. But this has always been in humans. Like, this has always been in people since the prehistoric times, when there was one tribe and there was another tribe, and the first tribe didn't believe or didn't really trust the other tribe and didn't like the other tribe, because the first tribe was afraid that the other tribe would steal their fire, or steal their meat, or steal their provisions. So it's really inside us. It's our most deepest animalistic, really, urge to trust our own and distrust the other one. And I think that Paru Itagaki, I am, by the way, going to butcher all the Japanese names, Paru Itagaki, who wrote and drew the book, portrayed it masterfully in this. Otherwise, the story is original. It's beautifully linear. It is excellently understandable. I think that the translation is good. I don't speak Japanese, but the script, at least the English translation, is quite, grasping. It's interesting. It's even funny. And as I said, I have enjoyed it thoroughly. Now, the art. I love the art. Of course, as all manga, or most manga, it's black and white. But it is, I think, quite specific from what I have seen so far. It's a bit different from other manga. Of course, this might have to do with the fact that it's all about anthropomorphic animals. But the artwork, I just love it. It's so cute. I consider Legoshi to be an extremely cute character. Even though he is a big grey carnivore, he's drawn in the way that you just sympathize with him, and you just want to cuddle him and pet him. Just look at him. Just look at Legoshi right there, the big grey wolf with his tail. Beautiful. Now Haru, the bunny, look at that. This artwork is beautiful. Also, what I do appreciate and love about manga is that manga artists are not afraid of portraying women characters in the way that they are attractive, right? They do draw women characters with really true women female features, which men find attractive, which I have well observed in American comic books. The American artists really have stopped doing this. They draw the female characters so that, it's like some people call it the approved Marvel or comic book body type. That the females in American comic books lack something, some distinctive female features, if you know what I'm talking about, that men find attractive. And I don't know why they would do that, it's, once again, there's nothing wrong about that. But what I do appreciate about manga is that they are really not afraid of portraying people the way they are, or idealized versions of people, or anthropomorphized animals, as it had been done in American comic books for decades. So, it's really very human, at least this manga. I look at that picture of Haru. Isn't that cute? I'm sorry, I know that, for a lot of people manga is nothing new, nothing that extraordinary, because you have been reading manga for years. But this is my first manga, and I'm extremely happy that the BEASTARS was the first manga I've read, because I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I can't wait for getting the rest of the volumes that have been translated into English, so I can finish, read them and finish the series that has been translated so far and make a review about it. This is Legoshi. Oh, Legoshi. I'm going to talk about Legoshi in a bit. Legoshi with Louis, the red deer. So, as I said, the artwork is beautiful. Of course, me being a Westerner who has read books and comic books his entire life, from left to right, I have been always used to reading from left to right, and manga is of course read from right to left, to which most Westerners aren't used to, but it didn't really make any difference for me. I got used to it very, very quickly. After 1 or 2 pages, I just automatically switched to reading from right to left. It didn't really, bother me in any way. What I also found quite nice are the little references and inspirations that came into BEASTARS. Let me just sip on my water because my throat is getting dry. For instance, there was a book that Haru was reading, and the book said "No Longer Animal," which I know that "No Longer Human" is a Japanese classic book from, I believe it's 1948, written by Osamu Dazai. Yeah, it's like one of the bestsellers, one of the classics of Japanese literature, and it has been made into films, into manga. I believe that the latest interpretation of No Longer Human was done by Junji Ito in his manga, which I'm going to read as well. So the anthropomorphized animal, the bunny rabbit, the dwarf rabbit Haru, was reading a book called No Longer Animal, which I found quite interesting and quite funny. Also, as when I heard the name Legoshi for the first time, I thought it sounds a bit like Bela Lugosi, the guy who played Dracula in Todd Browning's Dracula from the 1930s. And of course, at the end of this volume, there is a short interview with Paru Itagaki, well, the interviewer was asking him, how he came up with the name Legoshi for the character of the wolf. And he, of course, said that he was inspired by Bela Lugosi. One more thing that I found quite interesting and quite funny is that I received this book on the 9th of April. And I downed it fast. Like, I read it like that. Because it's a very, very, very good read. It reads itself. It's really fantastic. And also, at the end of the book, there's a little bio, a short bio of Legoshi. And it said that the 9th of April is his birthday, and then I of course received this volume on the 9th of April, and I read and finished my first manga on the 9th of April, so I found it quite, I found it a nice little coincidence there. So that's really all I'm going to say. I'm fascinated, I am involved, I am devoured, I am devoted to manga. From now on, I can't wait for reading the rest of the BEASTARS series, and I should be receiving some Berserk deluxe editions and the paperbacks, and some other books. I think that I've ordered like a couple of books by Junji Ito. I've ordered the rest of the BEASTARS. I've ordered the Berserk. And I'll see. So if you have some recommendations for me, and please do, if you watch this video, if you do know some manga titles that you loved, please do recommend them to me. You don't need to recommend me, any books, like Western books or European books or American comic books. I know these things, but I don't know much about manga yet. And I will only be very glad and very happy if there were as many people as possible that would recommend some great manga titles to me. And at the end, once again, a huge thanks and huge shout out to Gio from A Week in Geekdom for his review and his recommendation of the book BEASTARS. And that would be all from me, my friends. See you soon in another video, which will come out very soon. Hopefully, stay safe and bye.